What do you think, guys? New card. Just picked it up yesterday. Palmetto State Armory. It's a blim. You would never even be able to find it.
That's impressive, Bateman. But you haven't seen anything.
That's Glock. Opted for the X300 Ultra Flat Dark Earth. The Terran Tactical. Extra base plate. I didn't know it like you get such exquisite taste.
I can't believe Bryce prefers Van Patten's Glock over my just-as-good dagger.
Impressive. Let's see Paul Allen's card.
Look at that subtle flat dark earth gold. This tasteful metal grip module texture. My god. Is that a flat dark earth SRO?
Extendo, cuz. You want to shoot like Ricky Bobby? Fastest boy! I need to tell you about Badlands Munitions. Friends like to have fun. It's okay to have fun with the homies on the range. Doesn't always have to be serious, but you do have to have fun. And there's nothing more fun than running some delicious poly-coated bullets from Badlands Munitions Company. Ultra low recoil, ultra low power factor, and made in the United States. Guys, they have 9mm self-defense, match ammo, plinking ammo. They even have 5.56. Sweet. Made in the United States, the homies supporting the homies. With code 110SAS, you get 10% off. 10% off all of your ammo purchases. Can't go wrong with that. I like paying less money for ammo. How about you, Bob? Oh, hey, it's you again. Guys, today, Fowler Vanta V9, a $5,500 pistol. $5,500 right here. Guys, we are holding basically a decent Facebook Marketplace find. Honda Civic, decent miles, Toyota Camry, kind of something like that. Right here. The question at hand today, is this $5,500 handgun worth $5,500? Holy cow. Like, holy shnikes, bro. That's a lot of money. I don't care who you are. That's a lot of money. But you know, that is my brand of autism, is buying really expensive things and telling you guys whether or not you should consume. So here we are. The Vanta V9, 1911 double stack 9mm. But let's talk about this gun in particular. So starting from the top, Fowler Industries. What exactly is Fowler Industries? Let's talk a little bit about the history. Starting back in 1980, guys, we have a gentleman by the name of Mickey Fowler, a 4-time world champion Bianchi Cup pistol shooter, like, pretty cool, has over 20 championship wins worldwide. So yeah, that's pretty rad. I'd say he's probably a decent shooter. He must be okay, right? Now, I could probably beat him. So he has a kid, Logan Fowler. Starting back in roughly 2011, he starts working on his dad's race guns and his championship guns, okay? Starting with Glocks, you know, just doing the regular old Glock tune, drop-in trigger, a little bit of modification, and it slowly progresses into full-on custom Glock builds. Fast forward to right around like 2014, they have their own lineup of their own branded Fowler Industry Glocks. Yeah, pretty daggone cool. But 1911 supremacy, they will always be king. Now, starting roughly in 2020, they launched their very own double stack 1911 lineup. What we have here, guys, the V9. There really wasn't a ton of people out there manufacturing good, high quality double stack 1911s. I mean, there was definitely a few, but like what you see today, you can trip over 5 of them just looking on the internet. I know it may not seem that long ago, but there really wasn't that many super high-end custom 2011 builder. In just 4 short years, there are so many more of them out there. I mean, I'm not kidding. There's a new one that comes up every day, and this person's like, yo, you gotta check out this pistol. And I'm like, what is it? And I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that. Feel it, and I'm just like, that's actually a pretty nice gun. That gun company hadn't even been thought of yet in 2020, and that's just 4 or 5 years ago. So the two Fowlers, they get together with a gentleman named John Jardine. You may have heard of him as well. Another phenomenal shooter and an expert 1911 smith. They get together and create this pistol here. John actually created the infamous M1998A1, just a single stack 45, but that history, it's worth taking a look into. It's kind of funny. His Valtro builds are outstanding, of some of the highest quality and just revered amongst high-end custom 1911 collectors. A lot of his guns are going over $25,000 today. So that speaks a lot. Now, John had a tremendous amount of influence in creating this gun. So he has $25,000 guns today. And he had influence on this pistol here. So that's pretty daggone cool. If you're just a history guy on pistols, this should mean a lot to you. If you don't give a crap about history and only care about performance, we're going to talk about it. So let's dive in. First thing I want to talk about, guys, is the styling of this pistol. Now, I will say it is kind of common today to see double stack 1911s having, the best way to put it is very interesting styling. Lots of serration cuts, lots of lightning cuts, anything to kind of make it look a little different than a basic 1911. And if you guys know me, that's not typically my favorite. However, looking at this guy here, it's minimalist, but it's not, but it's just enough serrations and crazy looking space gun for me to be like, okay, like if I had to have one, it's tasteful. It's very tastefully done. The finish here, it's kind of cool. So a lot of guns that are, well, most guns that are this color here, they're usually like some sort of Cerakote, but this right here is like an ano, I think. I don't know, you guys will probably correct me, but it's not a Cerakote. It's like part of the metal. Don't know how they do that. I'm not a metallurgist. Anyways, yeah, the color is actually really cool, and it seems like a really durable finish on this thing. The finish is just, it's impeccable. I mean, it's no attention to detail spared. It's kind of outstanding. Some of the weird little things, when it comes to really high-end pistols like this, you can be super critical of because, well, if you're going to pay that much money for a handgun, this much money for a handgun, it needs to be very close to perfection. And I'm not gonna lie, the fit and finish on this firearm is just, I mean, it's unparalleled. I've never owned a handgun that's fit and finished as well as this. I mean, it's stupid little things. So like, I'm gonna show you here, let's zoom in on this guy, how these lines match up right here from the actual frame to the slide. It's kind of crazy. Now, I understand that's not super hard to do, but it's little things like that that add up. So you think like, okay, these guys care about little lines lining up, whatever. That's just on the exterior. Imagine what the interior attention to detail is going to be like. We're just little stupid stuff like this that has absolutely nothing to do with performance and strictly aesthetic. So we have an aesthetically, in my opinion, a very, very attractive gun. It is not my typical style of 1911, but man, this thing is, it's pretty sharp. A really cool thing they've done here. Now, you guys have seen some of my videos. I'm a big fan of putting just a little square of skateboard tape right here on all of my pistols. Why? It's a good index point. Put your thumb right there on the frame. It also keeps it from sliding it down. So I can put like a good positive pressure on there without my thumb just like sliding off, if you will. It's cool because they already put the LPI right in there. So this is like a good knurled finish. Think of it like a little more aggressive of a barbell. It's really nice. I actually really enjoy it. So that's really cool. It's just like little things like that that nobody else is really doing that just make sense. Rock on. Now, let's talk about the grip module. The grip module, all metal, baby. I'm a FUD for metal grips. I don't know why, it's just, it feels so much more like a real gun when I don't have to touch polymer to shoot it. Like, it feels great. And here's the thing, like, They have a pinned grip safety here in the rear. So that's not a very typical thing to do as 1911 manufacturer. I don't quite fully understand the whole science behind it, but it's supposed to make the trigger just a little bit better, I suppose. Also helps you get good positive engagement on your actual hand when you go to draw this thing from the holster. The grip module is actually shaped it's kind of funny, kind of interesting. So we have a huge indentation right here where the grip safety would have been, and then this oversized mag well right here where the butt and palm of your hand would go. It feels fantastic. Like it kind of, the best way to describe like a really good pistol is that it should be an extension of your own hand. Like this should just feel natural. Like when you go and grip a Glock, oh my God, it feels terrible. But when you grip like a 1911, and especially one just like this guy here, it's just like, oh, okay, like that's pretty nice. Like it just, you point, shoot, like it's just like, yeah, I'm on it. I don't know how to describe it other than making you pick one of these up and you'll just make sense of it. You'll be like, oh, okay, that's what he meant. Now, the metal grip module, it's really nice. They've got a little bit of dimples on here. Actually, that is the entire finish of the grip module. It's not super aggressive. I typically like just a touch more aggressive of a grip module on here, but it more than fine, more than adequate. It's definitely not going to be sliding out of your sweaty paws, 95 degrees in a match or anything like that. But I do prefer just a touch more, just a little more grip in there. But again, it's not bad. That is a very minor gripe. You have an ambi safety on this guy here, which is nice. You're left-handed shooters. If you guys are wrong-handed, I'm very sorry about your luck, but hey, he thought of you. That was so nice of him, right? You have a slide stop here. It's just your basic 1911 slide stop. It's nothing like the Triarch extended ones or anything like that. It has a pretty good little texture on it, and a little attention to detail here on the other side is just a little indentation there to get your punch in case, it gets a little stuck in there or whatever. Just pop the guy back and get you a little push pin right there. That's kind of nice because I'm not gonna lie, I've got some scratches on some of my 1911 from where I've stuck like a paper clip or just something to get in there and it kind of slides and scratches the frame. Little things like that. Now, one thing I'll say is there are lightning cuts all over this gun. There are serrations everywhere. It's not just on the slide. It's also on the frame. It's also on the barrel. All of these parts here all have some sort of like lightning cut on them to help reduce weight. Why? These are professional race guns. Light is good. Light is okay. You don't want the heaviest gun out there. That can throw off a lot of the balance and throw off a lot of the recoil impulse that most shooters are used to. Now let's talk about the trigger. Guys, we have a flat bow metal trigger. This isn't no plastic trigger like you'd see on like a staccato or something like that. I like that. Metal everything, just, I don't know why. It just screams quality. I don't know if that's true or not, but whatever. It feels like it to me, so heck yeah. Nice metal trigger. One thing I will say is that, oh my God, have they got this trigger right from the factory. I have literally never owned a double stack 1911 that I didn't send off to get a trigger job done. I've had 2 different Nighthawks, Alchemy, staccatos. I mean, you name it, I have spent tens of thousands of dollars on high-end custom double stack 1911s. This is the only trigger I have ever owned in one of those guns that I was just like, I'm not messing with it. That's, I'm a trigger snob. From rifles to pistols, like, that is one of the most important things to me. I don't know why I'm the way I am. I don't know, just risen with autism. But here's the thing, guys, we have a beautiful, it's absolutely, I mean, just minimal take up, 2-stage trigger. You get to your wall, there's absolutely positively no creep. There's none whatsoever. It is clean, crisp, candy cane-like snap. It's just phenomenal. And what's even better is the reset. I don't know how they do it, but like the reset is almost like pushing you forward. It's not a forced reset, obviously, but like it kind of almost feels like that. Like to get that gun up moving and getting it up faster, getting on that trigger and just getting your splits down. It's so important to have a good, fast, and short trigger. And I feel like on the reset, when it kind of pushes you forward after you just take the tiniest bit of tension off of it, it's literally like saying, hey, you reset. It's like kind of, it doesn't push your finger forward, but like it almost does. And that is just, that I just love. I absolutely love that. And that's what I look for on all of my pistols is, yeah, is the break great? Okay, cool. But how is the reset? That, I really like it. I really like it, and I tell you, they did a absolutely phenomenal job on the trigger. Just reset and break. It is just minimalist, super short movement. It is the pinnacle of performance in race gun, in my opinion. Now let's talk about shooting these guns. Now, as you guys have seen, I've done staccatos, I've done Nighthawks, I've done Alchemy pistols. I've done a lot of high-end custom 1911 and double stack 1911s, and every single one I have just wanted to port. I don't know why ports, I mean, I do know why. As if a double stack 1911 9mm had any recoil, if they actually had any recoil. It's just like a complete recoil delete kit. Putting ports on one of these guns just kind of almost makes it, it's like a cheat code. It's like a cheat code. It's like GTA Infinite money glitch, if you will. Like, I can shoot this gun and return to 0 faster. That's a cheat code. That is the definition of a cheat code. Like, everybody else is kind of playing on hard and you change the difficulty to easy. I don't feel like I need to port this firearm. And it's the only double stack 1911 that I've had that I didn't put a comp or V8 ported or inline ported. I don't know what it is about this gun. Like, it's not a science rocket and it's not like black magic in here, but I'm telling you, like, it's something fancy. I don't know how to describe it, but when I am shooting, it's just like the perfect balance of just like so when your slide comes back, the muzzle, it's going to go up a little bit. When the slide returns forward, the muzzle dips down a little bit because you have all of that inertia and energy moving forward, which pushes the muzzle down. Now, typically on like 5-inch handguns, I have found that muzzle dip is just it's a little bit more prevalent than, say, like a 4-inch pistol. I really like 4-inch pistols, but this guy here, it is crazy. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't need porting because it's so well balanced. The recoil impulse on this thing is just, it's back and then return to 0. It's not back, down, and then return to 0. So a lot of 1911s and double stack 1911s, I feel like, get this wrong. When you shoot, it comes up, and then the slide moves forward, the muzzle dips down, and then you come back up to 0. I just feel like it's so balanced throughout that recoil process that you shoot, slide comes back, then muzzle, it returns to 0. It doesn't really dip. That's a feat that I haven't been able to replicate, and I've owned guns much more expensive than this. I've had 2 Nighthawks, and you know, they're anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 more than this pistol. So that's really cool. I mean, first of all, it's going to save me like $500 because I was going to send it out and get it ported, but now I don't think I'm going to do that. Now, another reason why I would say most other people buy a custom high-end 2011 is that the work and craftsmanship that goes into them. And part of that is the slide to frame fit. Now, one thing I found interesting when I first got this gun is that they were like, you know, there is a little bit of a break-in period on it. And I'm going to be honest, I've never really had much of a break-in period on any of the other high-end guns. You know, shoot it a couple hundred times, clean it, and go for it. Like, that's it. I've never really had experienced any malfunctions, any weird things, you know, in the beginning. And I did with this firearm here. We had a couple different little failures, some of which just odd, not gonna lie, kind of odd. The slide not seating forward all the way. The mag the mag release was a little sticky. At first I was kind of like, oh God, like I got a bad one. Like this sucks, this isn't good, boys. But I just kept shooting it. You know, I was already at the range. I was like, nah, I'm not going back and taking this thing apart, like whatever. I just kept shooting it, and slowly but surely it just became absolutely perfect. So it's kind of funny. I don't know exactly what that means other than like the tolerances are very, very, very tight. And unfortunately, the only way to get the tolerances fitted to the gun without shooting 1,000 rounds is, well, nothing. You have to shoot it like 1,000 rounds. So at this point in the video, we're right at 3,600 rounds on this pistol. But I would say right at that like 250 to 350 round mark, I started noticing some things. So the first thing out of the box was that there was this itty bitty weird little tension spot right here the second that you open it up. There's like, it's just like it doesn't want to go. Like there's just like some small little like hump or something. Like just, we got to get that out of there. I don't know. A lot of my 45s have that. So you pull it back and it's just like the very beginning, there's just like a little bit of extra resistance there. And it was on this gun, it was very prevalent. I was like, oh, like that's weird. Like the rest of this is silly smooth, but the front has this weird little spot of resistance. Whatever. We got to that like 250 to 350 round mark, and it just like, it became a whole new gun. I don't really know how to describe it other than it just felt like, okay, this is a precision made machine. It's kind of strange. Like I've, you know, a lot of manufacturers be like, oh, there's a break-in period and stuff like that. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. I just shoot it. But this thing definitely had that. And here's the thing, you know, with custom guns, there's the tolerances, they're just so tight that, yeah, that's going to happen. After that mark, I'm not kidding you, I didn't even clean this thing. Didn't even clean this thing until like roughly 500 rounds. I cleaned it, I stripped everything off of it, put some gun butter on it, and we are now at 3,600 rounds without a single malfunction. I have never owned any 1911, any 2011 that has made it 3,000 rounds without any sort of malfunction, without anything slowing up. I don't know how or why I don't know how this pistol does it compared to everything else I've ever owned. I don't know if it's just like other ones aren't like just perfect, absolutely perfect tolerances. Perfect tolerances don't exist, like a perfect circle. I don't know. Did you guys go to school? I went to school, but third grade was the hardest grade of my life. Anyways, like a perfect circle doesn't exist, okay? I feel like perfect machining doesn't exist, but goodness gracious, I feel as if this has gotten there. Like this is that. Is if you can get it any closer, this might be it. It's just super strange that right around like the 750 to 1,000 round mark, all of my pistols, doesn't matter how high end they are, whether it's a staccato, whether it's a Nighthawk, you name it, right around that mark, they start to like gum up, if you will. And what I mean by gum up is that the tolerances are very tight, and if you get some junk and guts in there and carbon, so on and so forth, they just slow down. That's just the nature of the beast when you have a very tightly fitted gun. They start to slow down and you start to see malfunctions. It always starts with the lack of slide lock. So last round, Fowler pops up, pushes your slide stop up, and yeah, you have a locked back gun. That always seems to be the first symptom of like, hey, it's about that time, homie. Like, it's time to strip me down and get me clean. So that never happened with this firearm. Not to mention, guys, you've seen it, there's snow on the ground. Like, that's not gonna help. It's fine. Not an issue. It's truly impressive. So reliability wise, yeah, there was a weird little break-in point that I was genuinely afraid that like, oh my God, like what a waste of money. Oh God, like I fell for it. Like I fell for it. I'm a victim. I'm entitled to a cash settlement. No, it had me so worried at first, but after that like little break-in period, it's just, wow. I mean, it's impressive. It is a truly impressive pistol. Accuracy-wise, the thing, oh my God, it's just an absolute tack driver. It's kind of, I mean, here's the thing, like super precise, super accurate 2011s. That's pretty common. Most 2011s starting around that $3,000, 2,500 mark and up are all gonna shoot under 2 inches at 20, 25 yards, shooting them like off a bag or something like that. So yeah, that's nothing like too crazy to do that, but man, like, I don't know. It's again, it's weird to like, I'm not saying this gun made me a better shooter because I'm a crappy shooter, but like shooting this gun and hitting the target every single time exactly kind of like where you wanted it to go, it was a little surprising. I'm not gonna lie. It's just like, oh, I hit that. Oh, rock on. Like, that's cool. Neat. Like, that's pretty neat. It was, when shooting this gun, it was just like, whoa, like it was kind of funny because I was like, yo, I've like gotten a little better shooter over this winter. Like, you know, I'm a little better shooter now. No, it's just, this gun is incredibly accurate. Now, if there's one thing I have found about super high-end custom 2011s is that there is a point of diminishing return when it comes to these things. Now, what does that mean exactly? So, you pay a lot of money for these guns. As we talked about, guys, this is a Honda Civic Facebook Marketplace find. When you talk about firearms this expensive, like objectively, what does it do better than like a $2,500 firearm? What's it do better than a $2,000 firearm? And you know, the thing of it is that what you are buying with these very expensive guns is very marginal performance upgrade. Is there a performance upgrade? Absolutely, positively. Will you be more precise with this handgun? Will you have better groups? Yes. The odds of the bullet going exactly where you tell it to are going to be higher with this firearm than a cheap junk firearm. Now, when you compare this gun to, like, say, a $2,500 gun, like a staccato, for instance, what am I getting over this? Well, you're getting a completely hand-fitted firearm. There are a lot of production parts that go into staccatos. Like, yes, some of the parts are absolutely hand-fitted. You can't get that level of precision that staccato offers without hand-fitting some parts. But there's also a lot of parts that just aren't. And that's okay. It still makes them a good firearm. But when it comes to guns like this that are handmade by a smith, it's just on a whole other level of just precision and quality and craftsmanship. And to tell you the truth, Fowler Industries absolutely positively knocked this gun out of the park. Again, I'm not a huge fan of these like space guns and this whole, I guess, I don't know. I feel like the industry has kind of moved to trying to make guns look so different than everybody else's that they've kind of lost their way. But I don't know. It's the weirdest blend of space gun and minimalist that it works. It works and it looks really, I mean, objectively, I think it's a good looking firearm. You know, it may not be my favorite looking firearm, but the performance speaks way louder. And I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So like, this gun is priced up there with like Atlas. It's priced up there with Nighthawk. It's priced up there with like Alchemy firearms and stuff. And I'm not kidding. I don't foresee myself spending $6,000 on a Nighthawk when this exists. I think this is a phenomenal firearm. I'm not kidding. And I love Nighthawks. I love what they do, but this is just, I'm telling you, is on a whole different level. So, guys, I believe we have a wrap on this Honda Civic Facebook Marketplace find, Fowler Vanta V9. Guys, as always, I appreciate you guys. Neat new things coming. Guys, we have a website and there's merch on there. There's stickers right now. We're sold out of shirts, but hopefully real soon we're going to get a restock on that. Now, in and out, say it with me. JD's and Lettleman. Run your gun, not your mouth. We'll catch you next time.